Hey guys, um, welcome to the February 23rd, 2022 REI USA Short Sale Supergroup monthly meeting. I got something exciting for you tonight. I'm going to get right into it. I've been doing a lot of calls with people, sellers, and with my students, and the foreclosures are exploding everywhere. And so you need to understand how to talk to the seller when they call you. So you do your marketing letters, get your mail out, and then they call in. What do you say to them? How do you convince them to sign up with you to do the short sale? So I've got some great example phone calls. I'm going to actually play from one of my, other sessions that I have with some of my students. Okay, and so I will basically play this analysis for you. So take notes, go back and rewind it later, and make a script for yourself out of this. So let me go ahead and start this right now, and we will, let just throw your questions in the chat box, okay, as we go along, okay?
Get that and mail these letters out, guys, okay? I mean, that's what Lourdes is doing. She's actually mailing letters and people are calling. So please, all across the country, all my students, start, getting your letters, out there with it and stuff. So anyway, so now then when they call, okay, then you're going to have to get them to sign the authorization form. And remember, that's your goal. And so I'm going to play some calls that cover a lot of aspects to what the seller might say to you that you need to reply and answer to, and stuff like that. And so I'm just going to go ahead and play the first one here.
Hello, this is Lori.
Hey, Lori. This is Thomas Costello. You sent a letter to us in regard to a foreclosure and our property.
Yes.
Okay. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Hang on a second. Well, yeah. I hope you're doing okay.
Probably not the right question.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's not your fault. It's actually a weird situation when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm not even sure how they're doing this, but this isn't a bank foreclosing. This is the homeowners association somehow filed a foreclosure on my 94-year-old mom for her house, which is on a reverse mortgage. They can't do that. I mean, I don't even know how they have the ability to do that.
Okay.
She has
they
1
can,
year. They can? Okay.
Yeah, they can do that. It's unfathomable to me too, but they can. Do you know how much she owes on the HOA?
Yeah. Oh, on the HOA?
Yeah, how
just
much
one
she owes them?
about $5,200.
$6,200?
It's nothing. Yeah.
And the payments on the house or does she own the house free and clear, or is she still making payments on the house?
No, she doesn't. I mean, it's a reverse mortgage.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Reverse mortgage.
She owned the house, but she did a reverse mortgage.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I forgot.
So that's okay. So I'm not even sure. I mean, I would love to release it. I have no problem. I tried. I didn't really. It's up to the whatchamacallit, the reverse mortgage. If they'll take a settlement, of what we can sell it for to you, I have no problem with that. I'd love to get out of it. She's living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm a remodeler, and I had some of my people living in it, trying to have them do remodeling, which turned out to be a joke. They didn't really do anything. A few things this last person did, but so really, I mean, it's in good shape. I've got a lot of the stuff up to date. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
I was going to sell it myself, and then we got hit with this. So, yeah.
Can you give me the property address? Because I'm going to try to see when the foreclosure date is.
Yeah, it's the 23rd. You sent me the thing. It's 129100 Autumn View Drive.
Autumn View. I do remember that address.
Yeah.
So
how can we stop them?
Hold on. Did you say it's the 23rd?
Yeah.
And today is we're tight.
Yeah, we just got this notice about a week ago, I guess.
So the way we stop it, we can go ahead. We would have a cash offer on the house, so we can buy the. We'd have to see the house. We could buy the house, you know, in cash. They like those. They like the cash offers. Or we could try to do a short sale if she's underwater with the house, and it sounds like she probably is, with owing the $6,000 and the reverse mortgage. So I will tell you, the reverse mortgage company is not easy to work with, but
I know.
I can try to see what we can do.
All right. Let's do that.
Now for that, there's another thing. So I will need an authorization form for me to be able to speak about her loan to the bank, because for privacy issues, they won't let me. So I can email you one.
Yeah, that's fine. You ready?
And we can start there.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here. The whole idea behind marketing, you mail out a letter, is to get them to open it. After they open the letter, the whole single idea is to get them to call the phone number. That's what this is. And so Lourdes, who goes by her trade name of Lori on the phone calls, okay, is smart. And, you know, 4 minutes into it, she's already going for what she needs. Just give me the authorization form, because without that, you know, I can't find out if I want to do the short sale myself, kind of thing. So she's quickly drawing everything back to, you know, the authorization form. And yes, do you have to answer questions? Do you have to supply some information? And is there information you kind of want to get to know about the house? Yes, but, you know, go very early on in this harping on, you know, with authorization, I can find out this. With authorization, I can check into that. So make that kind of clear to them up front, you know, that you need that document.
Yeah, what is your email?
TJ20@gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay, so TJ20@gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay, I will email that to you here in the next few minutes, and then when you can fill it. I mean, I would do it sooner rather than later, because we're on an 8-day
I'll do
time.
it today. Yeah, I'll do it
If
today.
you could do it and mail it to me, because then I can email it back, and then I can get it to the bank, because it'll take them 1 to 3 days to approve the authorization, believe it or not, and so I can't talk to them until they approve it.
Right.
And
So, but I'm thinking there's got to be a way we can slow this process down to say that we're in process, you know, before this, because their foreclosure really doesn't start until that day, even though plus they didn't give us any time. They've never said this was happening. They never said they were going to do this. This is just all of a sudden. I guess I got served a week ago that they're taking this house, and that's really, other than paying them I think it's not even $5,200. It's like, I'll look. It might even be less than that. It's 1 year of their HOA fee.
Okay.
So.
And they can do it. And Missouri is a non-judicial state, which means anyone that wants to foreclose on your house for whatever reason, all they have to do is list it in a legal paper for 3 weeks, and then your house will be sold on the courthouse steps. So
Wow.
I know it's a little scary, and so we need to act fast so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'll get that to you right away. No, she's living with my brother. No, but there is someone there. Someone has been there working on the house for me.
Okay, but
no.
If it's foreclosed next week, will they have somewhere to go?
No, they really don't. They're trying. Again, we were just told, a week ago that they were doing this.
Okay.
Okay, so here, just as a little side comment, is later on in the phone calls, and I can tell it from many years of experience, while, you know, Lourdes is sounding like she's caring about, do they have someplace to go to? Look, these people are just sucking off of this guy living in the home. And so, you know, they're not going to have any place to go to, and we don't really care about them. They're just contractors who were supposed to fix it up, but aren't doing it. And they're just living in it for free. But it sounds good to say, you know, oh my, do they have someplace to go to? you would ask it because you want to know how much trouble you're going to have getting them out of the house by closing time. But they're not people that we're going to really care too much about. They've been kind of sucking off of this guy for a while.
Yeah, let me get that
She'll have to.
authorization.
She'll have to. I mean, she has no choice because
I'm
they
sorry?
are coming. She will have no choice. She'll have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, legally the bank will own the house, or whoever, the HOA will own the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
For
let me send
pennies
you
on
that.
the dollar. That's crazy.
Yeah. I know. And right now it's a great time to do that for people because the houses are selling for, they're selling fast. So
Right.
So let
Okay.
me
Well,
get
let's
that
work
over to you.
something out. Yeah,
I
let's work
can't do
something out.
anything unless I talk to the bank. Okay,
I hear you.
I'll get that to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Okay, so she got off the phone, she got what she needed, she has an email, get moving. Now that very last statement that she made was a mistake. You don't tell the seller that the market's really hot out there. Okay, they're not living in that world. If they knew it was hot, they wouldn't be calling you to get help. They would be selling their house, they would be fixing it up and selling their house or something like that. So that could draw you down a different road where he might want money for the house. He might say, well, I'm not going to do a short sale. You're right. The market is hot. I think I can sell it above the loan. Because remember, one of the market updates I presented a statistic that said that if a homeowner has 40% equity in their home and are missing payments, they will let it go to foreclosure with 40% equity. 1/3 of those people will go to foreclosure when they could have snapped their fingers and sold the home. So you don't really want to do anything to encourage them to do it. Now, if you're going through and you're going through option after option after option, you can certainly say, well, why don't you just list your home with a realtor? Why don't you just get a rich uncle to pay off, what you're behind on? So you can do that as options, but you don't want to try and show them your side of the market. For them it doesn't exist. Otherwise they would have sold it in the hot market. But otherwise it was a perfect phone call with the goal of getting the authorization form. So are there any questions about this phone call before I move on to the next one, the last one?
So Dave, this is General. He would have to get his mother to sign the authorization form if the house is in his mother's name.
Yes, that's the whole problem with all these probates, death people, dead, deceased people, is that you've got to, in this case, thank goodness she's actually living. She just is moved to a different state. And so, yeah, you've got to get the authorization from, the person that owns the home. And then if they're deceased, it's tough because then you've got to then get the heir, the son or daughter authorized to authorize you. Okay, and so we did some phone calls with that on how that process works with the bank, but that's in essence what it is, there's a certain series of documents, there's a package that you do, that you give them a process to get them authorized to authorize you. And so it's a two-step process with some of these. But yeah, so, you're just kind of dealing with, so you got to be careful and not, let this person sign the not let this person sign the purchase sale contract, kind of thing. So you got to go back to your public records. That's why, for anyone that's in the basic workshop, we go through your county's legal newspaper. Well, and we record that and I give you all the websites. Well, those websites there, because the first thing I do before I show you your county legal newspaper is your assessor's database, so you can find out what the square footage is, how many bedrooms, and stuff about the house. But it's to see the legal ownership, because you better darn well make sure that your purchase sale contract matches the assessor's database with it. But yeah, that's true, General. Other questions on this phone call? Okay, so we're going to go to
It's Edwina.
yeah, Edwina, go ahead.
That guy said he owned 5,000 in HOA fees,
Yes.
and that's why it was gonna foreclose. Why didn't he just pay the 5,000?
Well, okay, so, and I'll say this about the HOAs, because, I was putting those things in order, and HOAs like at the bottom and reverse mortgages at the bottom. And so Michael's saying, geez, Dave, the very first call you show us here is a HOA with a reverse mortgage. Okay, and so I agree, and this is why we know that you don't want to do these. Now, Lourdes is a one-on-one student, and so we can handle these because I'm working with her. We can do this. We can do a short sale on it. You shouldn't, if you're, only taking the basic workshop. But what happens is the HOA can own the house. And so by owning the house, they can kick the homeowner out. Well, if you know you're going to get kicked out of your house because the HOA owns it, you're probably going to pay the $5,500. So that's why HOAs are doing this thing of foreclosing. They don't really want to, because then they have to cut the grass, maintain the utility bills, and stuff like that. So a lot of times it's just sort of a threat, but it's a legal one and it's perfectly valid, and they can kick you out of the house. Now, I don't know if William is on here in Texas. We were doing some with a HOA, and what happened there was it went to foreclosure, and somebody bought it, and so someone else owned the house. Okay, now here's the deal. The HOA does not get rid of the first mortgage. It's like a second lien position. So if you buy this $5,500 at the courthouse steps, it could get bid up to $10,000 even. You're going to have to pay off the mortgage. All you did was, get ownership of the home. You're still responsible for all the debt. So this does not wipe out a first mortgage. HOAs are not on top of a first mortgage. Okay. And so you have that first mortgage to pay off with it. Okay, so let's
David,
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. You got any questions, throw them in the chat box. This next one's a long one. It's a big analysis. It's like 85% of everything you need to know with the seller. Okay, so you want to go back and listen to this and take notes of the key points that are brought out. So it's a 14-minute call, but it lasts for a 45-minute analysis. So this is with one of my coaching students recently. And so I do a big analysis of it. So when I do pieces of it, then at the end, I kind of go through it. So this is a really typical call that we're getting with probate and pandemic people. 1/3 of all my short sales now are with deceased people. It's quite incredible with it. And reverse mortgages are huge right now, because that's the tiered level that's being taken place at. So this is a long one. We'll finish the night up at the end of this. It's about 35 or 40 minutes long in a few spots here.
Hello, this is Lori.
Yes, ma'am, Lori. This is Sean Simpson. You believe you called? I texted you yesterday to
Yep.
let you know I was going to call you off when I got off work.
Yes, yes. How can I help you?
Well, I don't know exactly how you can help me.
Okay, so here, what you said was a gamble. Your reply, Lourdes, was a gamble. And it worked because the conversation continued on. But technically, if you knew a little bit more about him or something, what he's usually looking for is, why did you send him a letter? So that goes back to, I buy houses, I fix them up, I sell them, I rent them out kind of thing. You kind of skip that. And you kind of just went, took a gamble that he knew what he wanted to do, and he did. So, so it worked out okay. But, this could have easily turned down into a, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you sending me letters? Kind of thing. Now, other than the fact that he did text you and say, I'll call you tomorrow, makes him sound like a friendly guy, and so that's probably okay. And the gamble played off. But, remember, they don't really probably know you or why you sent him a letter sometimes or different things. So, just kind of be aware that maybe a little bit more information for him, was okay. but just a minor point, very minor point.
I just got off the phone with Carrington, and they're telling me that Carrington Mortgage, and they're telling me that my house is going up for sale date March 7th of 22. And
That is what I show too. Yes.
I'm ma'am, if I may just say, I'm looking for any option possible to keep this home. Now, if that's not possible, then it's not possible, I guess. But I'm looking for any assistance, anything possible to possibly keep it. I don't even know if that's, like I said, I don't know if that's possible. I guess I'm looking for information or advice from you, or what you and your team do.
Right. I understand. Well, let me ask you a few questions. What kind of loan do you have? Is it an FHA? I'm sorry, FHA, a Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae? Do you know?
I believe it's an FHA. I'm looking at my statement right now, or one of my statements. It should say on there, huh?
I'm not sure if it would say it on the statement.
So the answer is usually no, they don't. They don't usually state that. I mean, if it does, it's going to be, something like, if it's a statement from, like if it's a VA loan, Veterans Administration, they may have separate mailings that come out occasionally with their veteran benefits, and it might say they have a mortgage in there, but the actual bank servicing it, it usually isn't on the bank statement or the mortgage statement, with it and stuff. So that's kind of unfortunately the problem where we have to get the authorization form.
Well,
Okay,
we
well,
can.
Go ahead.
If you think it's one, it probably is, because you probably didn't make that out of, didn't make that up.
I didn't, but I'm almost positive it's an FHA.
Okay. Have you ever had any type of loan modification with this loan or anything like that?
Yeah, well, yes, I have. We've gone through. It's called a mortgage assistance plan, and that was last year, August maybe. I was supposed to make 3 payments in a row. 3 months in a row. Couldn't be late. Whatever. I did that, and then they said that they sent mailed a piece of paper to me that I had to sign and actually complete that mortgage assistance program, I guess. I never received the paper to sign. So, and then December, we're off 2 days for 1 week for Christmas, and then I got sick for 3 days 1 week, and then I got snowed out 1 week. It's just been a hell of a 6 months, if I'm being honest with you.
I understand. Those things happen.
Okay, so what was happening here, and it's not that it's necessary to explain everything to them, but that piece of paper was most likely a second promissory note, a deed of trust for that $33,000 that he owes. So they were moving it to the back end of the mortgage. So that's what he was supposed to sign. So what happened was he owes this money, we find out later on. They move it to the back end of the loan, and there's no payments on it, there's no interest, but he's got to sign the note and the deed of trust to be recorded. And since he didn't do that, he basically failed the modification process. So that was called I call it a silent second. It makes no noise because there's no interest on it and there's no monthly payments. So you never know it's there. And that's why they do it that way. They want you to sign this one piece of paper that he failed to do it. And I'm sure he got it. Yeah, I'm sure he got it. They don't not get it, okay? And so what happened was he read it, and it's probably said he owed $33,000, and so he wasn't going to sign it, because then he thought he'd be in more trouble. But what he didn't understand, that it was a condition of the modification. That was part of what he was required to do. So that's what that piece of paper was that he got.
And it can happen so quickly, and
Well,
it's easy to fall into hard times quickly.
Yes, I've been maintaining this for, we've been here for, I don't know how long, 12 years or so. And just this last year, has been really, really the kicker here.
Okay. So you are behind on your payments. Do you know how much you owe on your loan right now?
Yes, I asked him. He gave me this number, $32,060.47. Now
$32,000?
that's yes, $32,060.47. Now he says that he has to do something to accumulate some late fees,
So this is your typical thing, we have to go to the attorney to get the payoff figure because the attorneys have to add their fee to the $36,000 number. So this is all he's talking about right here. And once again, it goes back to that. That's the simple fact. That's what that piece of paper was. That's why when he called in, they probably said to him, you owed us $36,000. You didn't sign the paper, and stuff like that. So yeah, this is definitely, what he owes because he hasn't made payments, for a long time. And that was supposed to be all put onto the back end. So whether he's missed a payment or two right now, he hasn't been forgiven this amount. This is, what he owes to try to catch it up with it and stuff. And so then, yeah, and we'll listen as you go on, you do swing him finally back around to the term payoff. What's the payoff? Because sometimes the people, what do you owe? Well, they owe so many things, they don't even know what it adds up to, kind of thing. Sometimes you can say, how much is left on your loan? How much is left on your loan? That's another way to ask it. But with, what do you owe? He went straight to what they told him, which was the amount that, he didn't make payments on for many, many months here. A long time, he hasn't made any payments.
couldn't give me the exact amount. I said, can you give me a ballpark? And that's what he said, $32,060.47.
So is that what you would owe to get back to being current on your loan, or is that the payoff amount for your loan?
That's I asked him. I said, so if I give you $32,060 right now, will this all go away? And he said, well, he'd have to talk to his managers or they have to approve it of some sort. But that's not even the total number, because he said something about late fees that he had to put into the system, and it takes 5 days to. He was using a lot of technical terms. I don't know exactly what, but that was the ballpark number that he gave me to bring it current.
And see, so what's happening here is this approval is because when you're in the 21-day state or phase, it's supposed to be a full payoff of the loan. That they can require you to bring a full payoff. They don't actually have to accept the $32,000. So, when he said, if I pay that, does it all go away? Not to, of course, to him, the going away is the foreclosure date. And so that's what he's looking at. Does everything just get back to normal? And that's where, their supervisor had to say, well, we'd have to check with the supervisor, because technically he's got to come up with the whole full amount, and pay that off. But of course, anybody can accept anything they want at any time, and put it back in. So that's why the supervisor's approval would be needed with it.
So that doesn't make sense that would be a loan payoff. You said you've been there about 12 years. How much did you pay for your house?
$152,000.
About 152 was the.
Yeah, so that's I'm sorry, that's not the pay off. That's how much I guess I owe at the moment. That's not to pay it off.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's what
I said that wrong.
So that's what they would want you to pay to be current again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. And then you still owe whatever you owe on your loan. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So you have done loan modification. I'd have to see if they would do another one. Have you just?
Okay.
You've just done.
So the whole next 3 minutes, you shouldn't have gone down that route. Okay. One, they can't do a loan modification. Okay. If it's been within.
You can't do a second one?
No, they can't. Okay. So we probably should not have gone down that route. Because one, it was giving him false hope. Two, it's probably wasting time. Because we can't send in the documents with the box checked for loan mod, because they'll say you can't do it, and now it's been 3 days later, or 5 days, or however long it takes for them to acknowledge, to tell you that they can't do it, for you to turn around and send in what you have to do on FHA, which is a short sale paperwork. So we don't have time to do 2 sets of paperwork. And now, from the perspective that he wants to keep the house, what you said for a short time, I mean, you went on too long on it for the next 3 or 4 minutes, bringing that up as, can you do a second one and stuff like that wouldn't hurt, because we know that he wants to keep the house. But then you basically could, say, but wait a minute, if this is FHA doesn't allow, only allows 1 modification in the past 2 years. Was this within 2 years or before 2 years? And he's going to say, well, it was August of last, it was within 2 years. And you're going to say, okay, well then you can't do the loan modification. We have to do a different technique to stop the foreclosure. And then from there, Lourdes, you could have focused on, let's stop the foreclosure, okay? While weighing the fact that he wants to keep the house, so it's a balancing point. So the rest of your conversation is fine, but you kind of just delayed a whole lot of problems, with it, on it. So, but anyway, let's keep listening to it. But
questions before,
yeah, sure. Yeah,
with the conventional loan or VA loan, is that two-year time period still the same with a loan modification, or what's their stipulations?
Good question. I don't think that I know if they have a certain stipulation with it.
Okay.
It's a little bit different because FHA follows a waterfall process. And so these are well timed out, in the system. Certainly conventional can do anything they want. Fannie Mae is a little bit different. And I think that Fannie Mae, with the new CFPB rules, I think Fannie Mae was required to look at the modification. So Fannie Mae, they didn't have to do a loan modification. You could just go straight with the short sale, even if they've never done a loan mod. And so all you do there is just get the mental attitude of they've given up on the house, they don't really want it. So you don't even offer to tell them about a loan mod with it stuff. If they don't say that they absolutely want to keep it, then you don't try to do that. And if they say they do want to keep it and you can't talk them out of it, then you can try to say, well, okay, well, we can try to do a loan mod, but it might fail. And so you have to stick around the whole time when it fails so that you're there to pick up the pieces, and it drags things out, but that's okay. It's not a problem to do that. But they could turn around and try and do a second one. There doesn't seem to be any rules with it. They're required now to do a loan mod. So I don't know when that requirement came out, if they also said, if you've done one in the past 2 years, you can't do it again. So, I don't know. We don't know enough yet to know that exactly without, getting on a call with a bank with an FHA loan, on one of these kind of things.
David.
It's hard to tell what the rules are.
That one, and then you couldn't sign the papers for the other one. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I've just done the one, and then made the 3 months payment, whatever, and then they mailed out a separate piece of paper to actually sign, I guess, confirm that the mortgage assistance had taken place. But I didn't. If it was mailed, I didn't see it. I didn't receive the letter, so it didn't get signed. And now there's a sale date on the house through March 7th. So he gave me another number to call for assistance, but you had texted me, you got a hold of me, so I'm calling you first.
Okay.
Just because we had talked, I texted you and told you that I would. So
Yes. So, we can try to talk to your bank and FHA and see what, if they'd be willing to do another loan modification, because I'm hearing that you want to keep your house.
Okay.
I would.
So at this point, to kind of recover from this, if you get authorized, you could just very quickly come right back to them and say, hey, talk to the bank. No, they only do 1 and 2 years. We can't do the loan mod. And then not even waste paperwork, not even waste an application going into the bank. So we can recover from it with, this statement here pretty easily, where you're going with it right now. We just, would do this all up front before we ever tried to send in any paperwork. We would say, okay, I talked to the bank, I confirmed with them that they will not do a second loan modification. Their guidelines are one every 2 years, kind of thing. And then he'll be upset. Well, what do we do now? Okay, well, sir, right now, and this is kind of where you should have been on the rest of the call was, sir, we have got one thing to do. Stop the foreclosure date. That's all we need to do right now is stop that foreclosure date. And the way we do that is we turn in an offer to the bank really low and we scare them into stopping so they can come out and take a look at the house. And so you want to always keep driving people, towards that, unless there are reasonable options like, FHA and they haven't done a modification, or if they're, they say they've got somebody that is going to come up with the money, then you just kind of, say, okay, well, look, you got till tomorrow afternoon for your uncle to come up with the money. And if he doesn't, he's probably not going to, right? So then we got to move on, doing the next process, which is a short sale, with it. And so if they go back to, but I want to keep the house, I want to keep it, and say, well, March 7th, you won't have it, okay? In a short sale, we stop the foreclosure date. So, you don't have that choice right at the moment to keep the house because you won't own it on the 7th of March. And so we have to stop that.
Question.
I don't like getting in that argument with the homeowner because you do your job and you stop it. Now they sit back and go, ha ha, now I got my house and I'm not going to do anything, it's been stopped, and so they said, I don't want to do a short sale. And so now they won't do the short sale with you. So you take some of that risk in it, but that is the sole purpose we have is to find clients that, don't want to live in the house, willing to do a short sale. And then you can do the short sale offer to scare the bank. That's the one where I say, hey, do you think the offer is low enough or should I lower it to scare the bank more? And I get them to say, oh man, why don't you come up with a lower price? Then you're in sync and synergy with the homeowner, and stuff. So that's where you're kind of trying to drive it to, with people and, the kind of short sales you want to work on with it and stuff.
I will say, I want to say one thing. Laurel did go by the house, and it's a neighborhood where they're still even building newer homes. I mean, he said he'd been there 12 years. I don't think he's right about that, but I thought the house was 5 years old. I could be wrong, but she said they're still building in the neighborhood. And she said the outside of the house looked beautiful, like beautifully maintained. And so I was also afraid that it wouldn't be a short sale.
This is in Wentzville, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, do you remember the address?
Yes, hang on.
Because here, let me pull this up.
It is 406 Pearl Creek Drive.
So this is the St. Charles County Assessors Database website, like you have for St. Louis County. This is St. Charles County.
Oh.
So let me throw this in the chat box. If you're able to download this. So this needs to be in your favorites. So it's equivalent to the St. Louis County one. So we'll do search. Oh, it's Sean Simpson. Okay, yeah, sorry, you got Sean, right? Okay, so so it's just him by himself, 1295 square feet, unfinished basement, 3.2, 2008. Well, that's 12 years.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He's one of the early ones. He paid that for it, and they only have it appraised at 224. So no, this is a short sale on it. Especially if it's in bad shape. I mean, it's 12 years old, so probably everything is original. The roof is old, the HVAC is old, unless he had hail damage. Now, in today's, if you do CMAs on this, it might be 300,000. If you do a CMA on the MLS, but as far as the assessor's database, they're calling it 224. And so if he, owes one, he owes, 140 plus 30, so he owes like 170. Okay, so that's way too high compared to 224. Because you're going to get an appraisal for this that's going to show it's worth 50,000. So you're going to flip from being owed 170 to them accepting 50,000 for it. If this was a $400,000 house, it might be a little bit different. But yeah, no, I mean that looks like a fine house. Pretty good area, and probably what it is, they're just still building. I mean, they'll build for 5 or 10 years in a subdivision.
Yeah, that's what Laurel said. They're still building, and it's a planned subdivision or something. She said it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's the kind of houses you want to buy with it. Even if you have to pay 75,000 for it, maybe, the headache, the ease of selling it, and stuff like that, is probably worth it, because 1,200 square foot, your rehab's not going to cost you much. It's a small house, kind of thing. What I don't like is it looks like, you can't read this, but it looks like that says 13 feet. So it looks like a single car garage. So it would be 21. You can't read the dimension on the diagram, but I think this is 25 front to back, and this is 13. So that's a single car garage. If it was 21 feet, that's a 2-car garage. So single car garage isn't that exciting. People don't really like those a whole lot, kind of thing. But and then here you can click the site map and pull up a map of where it's at. Not that it's really going to tell you a whole lot other than you can. I think it's zoom out from it. So it's kind of on a cul-de-sac there. Let's see where it is relative to. You want to see where it is relative to Walmart. Okay, so Mexico Road. Here's 4061. Here's Highway A. I think Walmart's off to the left. Yeah, okay. So
You think that's that big
across from the
Walmart?
GM plant.
yeah, well, the Walmart's way over here to the left.
It's
Okay.
across from the GM plant.
It's way down over there. So this is 4061. Here's 70 down here. Here's Highway 70 going left to right. So when you come out 70, you go north on 4061. So this is Highway A coming off of there. And that's Mexico Road. So it's not a great area. But I think that's kind of relative. Houses north of Highway 70 don't sell for as much as houses south of Highway 70. So this is north of 70. But it doesn't matter. You just do sold comps on the MLS and just kind of see, but just be real careful about comparing it to sold homes south of 70. This is Highway 70. You can't compare it to, something that's kind of south. You need to really, stick in this quadrant here. You stick in this area. Lost my house now, but anyway, so I mean, there's definitely no problems with it at all. I'm just, saying it's, it's north of 70 is all I'm really saying. I mean, I doubt it's worth 300,000, but it's probably worth 275, with it. So, okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and go on.
I would absolutely love to keep my house. I don't have any confidence that that's going to happen at the moment. I'm just beat down and drug out.
I understand.
But that's why any assistance, any information, anything, any help at all would be much appreciated.
Yeah. So here, like I already said earlier, when you kind of went down the road of possible second loan mod, is here he's beat down. He realizes that there may not be any options. So you want to start offering the hope of, the comparison to you're going to be out of the house, won't own it March 7th, or if we're doing a short sale, then you're going to get, 2, 3, maybe 6 months in the house. They'll give you some money to move, and start, making that be his bright light that he looks forward to. Okay, so you want to say, hey, well, you're going to lose the home, and you need to have everything out of it because you won't own the house. But hey, if we do a short sale, I can get you a lot of time, and FHA will typically pay $3,000, to help you move, and then the whole time you're saving your money up. So that now becomes his next bright picture, with it, kind of thing.
Okay, so what we do is this is at no cost to you, and if we help you.
So I've liked that thing. I think you should coin it or patent it or something. I think that saves a lot of trouble later with them trying to figure out what your motivation is. Okay, because you're telling them first they think you're going to tell them all this stuff, and then you're going to tell them it's $1,500 for me to do all this, and they get very mad, conceptually. So right up front, you're going to set them so that their guard is down, so that they're more listening to you, versus, well, this is what we do for you, and then what are you going to charge me? And so they're always like standoffish the whole time they're talking. So I kind of like it when you do that up front, no cost to you. Now, of course, you got to be prepared for what I said to you on the phone. Someone's going to say, why? Why are you doing this for no cost? And so that's where you have to be prepared to either, say, it depends on the conversation, but, I like to do the one where, hey, there are times when, people don't want the house. And so I am able to be that cash buyer as is that the bank will accept, so that you don't get the foreclosure and you get time to live in it. And I will spend a lot of money and fix it up and sell it, or, go down some kind of charitable route, kind of thing, stuff, which is, I made the joke with you that you're going to tell them that you're married to a husband that provides everything for you. And so this is kind of like a charity thing that you like to do with your time, and stuff, because you are really good about all the work that you have to do. It makes you wonder, why is somebody doing, all that work if they're not doing this and have a heart to help people, kind of thing. I've never gone down that route. I've done more of the, hey, I win some, I lose some. Some of them I get, I put a lot of money in it, I fix it up and make money. It's just the cost of doing business for me. Doesn't sound as nearly as nice as, hey, I got a husband who takes care of everything, and so I'm able to help families out in St. Charles County, kind of like a charitable organization, kind of thing. But I think that no cost sets the tone for them to listen to you better. So I kind of like the way you do that.
And you get to keep your house, that's fine. We're happy to do that. If not, then, we would try to buy your house from the bank.
Okay, whoa, stop. I got to get that thing out of everyone's. You're never buying the house from the bank.
I know, I keep saying that, David, I know. Oh.
The problem is it's a longer phrase. You say, I'm going to buy the house with your bank's permission, or with your bank's reducing the amount you owe. So I'm going to buy the house. I'm going to buy the house from you with the bank agreeing to a lower payoff, so that I can fix it up and sell it. So you're right about buying the house. So that's good. You want them to know that that's the case. But just, the from the bank makes it sound like you're going to, that you're working with the bank, and we don't want them to think you're on the bank side, kind of thing. So,
Okay.
so yeah, it's difficult. A lot of students say from the bank, and it's not from the bank.
But I mean, we would be thrilled if you could keep your house, because I don't want anyone losing their house. That's just an awful situation to be in. So there's plenty of people that lose them. It's very sad. But we can talk to the bank and see what's going on, and see about, another loan modification, see if we can, postpone the the foreclosure date for at least a week. They can do at least a week, and work with us a little bit and see what we can get out of them. What you don't want though is a foreclosure, because a foreclosure is horrible on your record. I'm sure you've heard it. It'll drag your credit score down for 7 years, and like by 300 to 400 points. And then they can come after you for whatever you owe on the loan, which is called a deficiency. They can come after you for 7 years for that. So you can go get a great job, and they can garnish your wages. So you definitely don't want a foreclosure. So that's what we would try to avoid, for people not to have to go to foreclosure either. So the first step that I would do with you is talk to the bank and see what's going on, and see if we can get a loan modification with FHA again. They might do it. I mean, do you think you could get up to date if on your payments? Do you think you could, that would be a good plan for you?
Do I think I could get up to date, like pay the $32,000?
Oh no, I mean, if they give you a loan modification plan, do you think you could stick to it? I mean,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I do. I think my payment's like somewhere around $1,050 or something like that. I anything less than 1,000 I could easily keep up with. It's like I said,
Okay.
it's just the past few months of the not working, for being sick for a week. I got snowed in for 4 days. The boss called off work. Just a bunch of shit has happened. Either way, but Karen, so calling the actual bank, Carrington Mortgage is who I've dealt with this whole time. As far as I understood, they bought my loan from the bank or whatever a while back. I've only dealt with Carrington, so I wouldn't even know what bank to call, honestly.
Okay. Who was your last bill from? Was it Carrington?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'd probably start with Carrington Bank, and may have to even call it. I don't know why I can't say FHA today, and get them involved and see what we could do. I mean, we could start there. We would need an authorization form from you, so that I could speak to the bank about your loan, because they won't speak to me unless I have information. That information to give them, and your permission. They won't speak to me for privacy issues, which is good. That's a good thing to protect you, but you would have to just sign that and let me be allowed.
That was very, very, very good. You should record this and have it on your phone so you can just play it for other people, because it was very well done. The only one word I would take out is that's good to protect you. The protect you goes, oh, what do I need to be protected from? Right? So I think I would have left out the word, that's good. I would just said, that's good for you, and left it alone, that you have to turn in a form to be able to talk to them. It's good for you. But, to say to protect you makes him wonder, okay, well, what is it that somebody can do to me, if they have this form? Since I am signing it and giving you permission, what if you're a bad person and you've gotten permission and I'm not protected anymore? So, it may have brought up a little bit there. I'll rewind it just 10, 15 seconds just to kind of re-listen to it. I think you could have just said everything, but just left out that word protected.
I don't know why I can't say FHA today, and get them involved and see what we could do. I mean, we could start there. We would need an authorization form from you, so that I could speak to the bank about your loan, because they won't speak to me unless I have information. That information to give them, and your permission. They won't speak to me for privacy issues, which is good. That's a good thing to protect you, but you would have to just sign that and let me be allowed to talk to them. And you could even be on the phone with me if you wanted to, whenever we did that. And we could see what we can get. We could start there. You said you've been talking to someone else that can also help you?
Well, I haven't called them yet. He gave me a number to call.
So I think while what you did was okay, I think that you could have just ended it there, trying to get his email address, trying to get it sent off, and just not worried about this other contact person. Because, you know, you want the authorization form. That's the only reason you're on the telephone with anybody, is to get an authorization form so that you can take over, take control, find out what you want to do. Do you want to do this short sale? What kind of loan is it? How far behind? Have they done a bankruptcy 5 times and the bank's not even going to listen to, you just want to get the authorization form. So I think that you could have ignored this second phone number that was given to you and not worry about it, okay? With it. Now, I was curious what it was, so I was curious, but I think here at that stopping point that we just were at, if you just said, if I could email that to you, if you give me your email, I can send that form to you, then I can, talk to the bank, and there's a lot of things that I can try to do to get this thing postponed and get more information for you. And then just ended the conversation there, with it and stuff.
Oh, okay, I
And
got you.
I have not called the number yet. I called you first.
Okay. It was the other person, what do they do? Are they an attorney or?
I called the same person that I call when I actually pay my bill from Carrington. It's a Carrington number, and I called them and asked them what my options are, and he gave me a number and told me briefly a ballpark number of how much I owe, and then gave me a number to call for any further assistance. But that's the same number and same people I've talked to that I got the first assistance through.
I got you. Okay. Well, I mean, do you want to try calling that number? Like, you could probably call now. I'm sure they're open, and see what they say. And then, because if they offer you a loan modification, that is the way to go. That'll keep you there. That will take off the foreclosure date for now. And if you can be making payments, that's a really good option. That would be the best option for you at this point, I think.
Okay, well, I'll keep you. I'm going to call the number that they suggest for me. I'll keep you in mind, and I'm going to see what I can do.
Okay, if they can't do that, call me, because I could try to buy your house too from the bank. So see how that goes. I'd want to go look at your house, and make sure it meets the criteria I'm looking for. But we can try to go that route and see if I can help you out that way too. But let me know.
Man, when you say buy the house, I mean, yeah, you buy the house and I don't have a foreclosure on my record, I guess. But that's not me paying you to stay in the house. That's me leaving the house and you selling to someone else. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, you would have to leave the house. Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, that would mean that if I buy the house, then the bank would have to agree to sell me the house for a price and not come after you for anything. That if it meets the criteria, you could do that. Yeah, but unfortunately, you'd have to leave.
I understand.
So I'd rather you stay in the house and try to do the loan modification, because that would be, and you want to leave. Some people really want to leave their house. They're ready to put it all behind and just move on. But it sounds like you want to stay. And so
I would love to stay. I don't have any other place to go. So yeah, I would love to stay.
Okay. Well, call Carrington Bank. Call them now, because I'm telling you, the closer you get to that foreclosure date, the banks get really testy. They don't want to work with you anymore. So call them. Okay. Call them now and see what happens, and see if you can get something going with them.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Can I give you a ring in a couple of days and see, or even tomorrow, and see how it went?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure you're getting the help you need, because I don't want your house to be foreclosed on. That's not a good option. Okay, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure thing. You take care.
Yes.
Okay, so overall, it's really, 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 really a good call. Okay. We're fighting the fact that he wants to stay in the house, but that's the way it goes. The only thing you could have done is bring up the fact that, you have to be out of it on March 7th. You don't own it. You have to get your stuff out, and kind of make him realize that, any option you present is going to be better than what's coming up with it and stuff. So the other number that he had to call, it's probably just, the same department talking about, you owe money. So there's not much that, anybody at Carrington's going to be able to help him with. I thought that the phone number was going to be the FHA hotline or the FHA financial advisor service. So when you do a short sale, there's a box that says, have you sought the help of a home counselor? And so I was thinking that that probably was the home counselor, which is pretty much just a waste of time. All they do is say, well, didn't you make a budget? Don't you know how much you need for food? Didn't you have enough money for it? And it's just, kind of goofy thing. They don't actually do anything to help you with it. So that's kind of what I thought maybe the phone number was for, but it sounds like it's just part of Carrington Bank, just another department calling him saying, pay us, pay us, pay us. So I don't think that it's really, I think it's just like what you get when you call. They put you off to somebody else, or they, say they can't do anything. So they're just giving him another department, to talk to, which is probably the department where he has to take the money to, kind of the concept or something like that. So overall, a really good call. I think today's the next day. So I think you need to call him.
Yes.
And, find out, what that other number did, which is absolutely nothing. And so then just go straight down okay, so look, we have got to stop the foreclosure. Okay. And so, you might even just go ahead and say, hey, I checked with, Dave, he's a guy that works with me, and specializes in stopping foreclosures. And, he said that FHA will only do one loan modification. So we're going to have to go down the route of scaring the bank with a short sale to get them to stop. And if he says, well, do I lose the house in a short sale? You say, well, yes, eventually. But right now we need to get the foreclosure stopped so that you can get more time in the house, that you won't have to have all your possessions out March 7th. You won't, not be the legal owner, kind of thing. So if he keeps driving towards, I don't want to sell it, you have to keep driving towards, okay, what are you going to do then? Because March 7th, you won't physically own it. And the short sale is a way, to stop the foreclosure and still get you some money out of this house, through a sale, and just try to make him come up with a better option. You could go down the bankruptcy route. And that's probably where I would go. If he keeps pushing on it, then, a chapter 13 will, give him a new house payment, right? But it's going to be, it may not be a higher, or may not be lower, it could be higher. It just depends. They're going to take this $32,000 now, and they're going to put it into the loan and then calculate a payment off of that. So there's no guarantee that the payment's going to be higher or lower. We've had people come out with a higher payment in bankruptcy. But I mean, that's at least a chance for a judge to do a second loan mod. The judge will do a modification, just like he did with Judy, kind of thing. He came up with some $4,000 number, right?
And that was a post petition. I listened to the recording again. It's called a post. They call that a post petition. Who knows where I wrote it, but it was a post petition amount, and it was like 4,100. Yeah.
So, for him, because he owes so much on back payments, it's most likely his payment's going to go up in the bankruptcy. So you kind of, sort of talk him out of it, but don't talk him out of it too hard, because remember that, if you do talk him out of it, then you've got, just a week or two. Well, I don't know, I guess you've got 20 days actually. So March 7th, oh, we've got a lot of time. But as you point is that, if you talk him out of the bankruptcy, then you've got to stop the foreclosure, try to stop it. which we would go through FHA. We haven't done that yet. This would be a good one to do it on. Yeah, we should try to do this. We've never had time to go to FHA when you've got 7 days left. But so that's what I would try and concentrate on is tell them that you've got a person at FHA who can go around the bank. But I would still try to be clear with them that you can't do a second loan modification within 2 years.
Okay. But you said we should take advantage of an FHA person that goes around the bank?
Yes, yeah, the FHA, well, okay, first of all, remember, another thing you could tell them is, I checked, FHA still has their 30-day rule, and you're within 30 days of the foreclosure, they won't postpone, But if I have a contact at FHA that I go around the bank, and then they can bypass that 30-day rule. So there's several reasons you can get him to sign the authorization form. But personally, I just think you need to be upfront and say, that if you've done a loan mod within 2 years, they're not going to do that.
And if they say how long they can stay at the house with a short sale, I could say, a couple months.
Yeah, well, I mean, tell them it usually takes 3 to 6 months, to do a short sale. And the whole time you're able to save up your money. And you get, an FHA usually pays $3,000, on a short sale. So you can get some money from it.
We can go this evening and get everything signed.
Yeah.
Well, and,
Yes.
and that was the other thing that that I forgot to mention somewhere in it, and now I forgot, but through the process fairly early on, about 1/3 of the way through, you could have gone down the, what's the condition of your home? Because right now you don't know what you're driving out to see, I mean, it's nice that you drove around the outside, but, does the basement have any leaks? Is the basement finished? Now, a lot can be found we went online and we saw it was 2008. So we know the roof is 12 years old. We don't even have to ask. Now if the home's 50 years old, we have to ask because it could be brand new. But, that's somewhere we could have, done something with him to make him realize that, he doesn't want the house anymore. Do you really want the house that needs a new roof, that has got a leaking basement? I mean, you have to wait till he tells you what's wrong with it, but, you can gather more information for your side, to know, whether you're going to be able to get this for a low price or a high price.
Right. Okay. And the last thing I want to ask you, and it's not necessarily just about this house. When I say I want to buy your house, and then if it doesn't meet the criteria, that's why I put in if it meets the criteria, but that sounds weird too. How do you, if you go and it doesn't meet the criteria, it's not a short sale, or the house is in such bad shape, but there's no way you can get your money out of it. How do you tell him I'm not interested? I mean, I guess you do it, but that's, is that, I would feel like I deceived them in the first place.
Yeah, well, no, I think, if it meets our criteria, I think is a good lawyer, attorney type phrase, you're throwing in, where, hey, I told you, it had to meet my criteria. So I think that's fine. It goes by fast enough where he's not really, and even if he says, well, what's your criteria? Then there's your reminder to say, what's the age of the roof? How old is the windows, the electric panel, the sewer lateral? Now, of course, you may start with, how old's your home? Yeah, okay, right? If it's 2008 or 12, it's like, okay, well, I know half the answers to the questions, but, that meets my criteria might be the point where you can say that, because, if you're finding somebody that's distraught about the condition of the home, there's even more reason to sign an authorization form, or you can even come back and say, so do you really want this house, sir? You said you want the house, but do you really want to owe, this money plus another 30,000 on something that needs so much work? If you know that ammunition, you could have used that, if it would have been the case. So that's a good thing. But, I think that, you just have to get that authorization form as soon as you can, so that you can talk to the bank and find out, if it's FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and get, more specifics on the bank side. Because I've had cases where they filed bankruptcy like 3 or 4 times over the past 5 years, and they were using it just as a technique to stop it, and so I even had one where the judge even issued a restraining order against the homeowner from filing another bankruptcy. They'd done it that many times, and so the bank wasn't about to do anything to help the homeowner out with the short sale, and stuff like that. So you really got to get that authorization form, and then say that you'll be able to find out, what their options are. I mean, that's kind of the thing. You're still exploring the options, with it. So you're not committing to doing anything, with it. Now the question becomes is, okay, so, what are the options that are not a short sale? And so that, basically just leads you to telling them what they need to do. It's not your responsibility for them to come up with the money to pay off the loan. It's not your responsibility to come up with, even the documents to do the loan modification, with it and stuff. You can, it's put back on them, whatever you find those options to be with it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it, guys. Sorry to go way so over. So I want you guys to go back and listen to this. It's recorded, play step by step, make notes, write stuff out, do a script, key points, head knowledge, okay? My one-on-one students, we have scripts, but I don't believe in scripts. When you get 2 levels deep in a script, there's no way to follow a script, It's all about, do you know the facts in your head to speak to them when they've gone down, path A, path B, and path C. There's too many combinations to keep using scripts. So you got to have the knowledge of this. Write each of these down as key points, as facets of it, and kind of just take note and remember what it is. So anyway, guys, sorry to go a half hour over. Any questions on this call here? Some were in the chat box and I answered some of them, but anybody want to unmute yourself or throw a question in the chat box real quick here before we wrap it up?
Did you get that one?
We're doing it right now. This is actually a live one right now. So yeah, this is one of the 3 or 4 that Lourdes is working on.
Yeah,
Right.
it's one I'm mailing letters to too. So
Yeah, on it. So
that's why I wondered if you got them to sign, so I won't bother them anymore.
yeah, no, well, you can bother them because, then that just makes them that look, guys, this is why so many of these are happening, is because the banks are now bothering them. So the more people that bother them, we have this thing with my one-on-one students, even here in St. Louis, we have multiple people. We want you to mail to them. We want them to get 18 letters to scare the crap, and they'll call 1 out of the 18. And hopefully half of them are my coaching students, and the other half are from 3 Doors, or who knows where they're from, but I got 50-50 shot. It's one of my students. So, the banks are now calling them and causing trouble. That's why they're responding. So, you want to definitely, keep, doing stuff with them and hounding them and everything. But yeah, this one here, we've got this one all taken care of, and stuff like that. But, they're get your mailings going, everybody. If you don't have that stinking, thing here, get it. Okay. It's only $500. And it's got the whole marketing system all wrapped up. If you can't get your letters out, then use this system here. But anyway, guys, unmute with any questions on this call, and we're going to wrap it up.
Okay, guys. So basically, I know we went a little bit over, apologize on that, but this is a big analysis. I did a one call that covered a lot of topics. My contact info, you can contact me, at my phone number. I'll throw that in the chat box if you have more questions about this. It's 636-685-2990. My email is David Randolph at realtyrenovator.com. I'd be glad to talk to you about this. You guys need to move, okay? The moratorium is over with. The banks are hounding the people now, and they're turning to you when they've got your letter out there. So if you're not sending out letters to them, go back to watch some of the earlier recordings I did about marketing system, okay? Get your letters out there to them. It's simple direct mail. This isn't massive mailing systems or anything like that. But, any last questions, throw them in the chat box, real quick. Three Doors, yeah, that was just a company here in St. Louis. That's a wholesaling company. Big wholesaling companies, is who they are with it and stuff. Postcards don't get us. Yeah. Look, I never send postcards out, Mike. I don't use postcards. And here's why. In a short sale for Missouri, okay, it's a 21-day state. Georgia's a 30-day state. By the time the postcard gets there, it's too late. So I use first class letters. Okay, so postcards are too slow with it. And so I don't do that anymore. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. Mike, I've never used postcards on short sales. Okay, I don't use them on that because they don't get delivered in time for them to call to get help with it and stuff. But anyway, any other, I guess someone has their hand up. I don't know how that works. Can I make you able to say something here with it? I guess somebody had their hand up, so you can talk if you want. Somebody had their hand up. If you got a question, Mark, so Mike, go ahead.
I was just going to ask about the postcards. Yeah, that was it. But so I just do first class mail and that'll get to them quicker.
Yeah, handwritten letter first and then type letters after that, Mike. See, what happens is, what state are you in again? I can't remember.
Georgia. Yeah. So it's 30
Oh my
days.
gosh. Then you're identical to me. 30-day state. Actually, you guys are a bunch of bums. You got 9 days longer than I do. I'm 21 days and the house goes to the bank. But still, it's very similar. So what you got to do is I have a handwritten letter because that can be already pre-written, waiting for you to put the to address on the envelope and the property address inside the letter and in the mail by 5 p.m. of that day, Mike. Okay, don't wait around with it. And then after that, you can do the type letters in an Excel mail merged system with it. Where you follow that up like 3 days later. And stuff like that. But yeah, Georgia's a great place, for foreclosures right now too.
I'd never thought to do like a second letter. I didn't think there was enough time, but yeah. Well, I mean, since I'm sending postcards.
Yeah, now postcard doesn't get there in time because they aren't treated as first class mail. They can take too long to arrive at the house. So that's why I don't use those.
Yeah, I've got everything typed up already. I've got a yellow letter that's got, interested in the house. It doesn't have like a spot to put the address of their house on it. But I usually just put that address in the to on the envelope. And then I've got stickers for my return address on there.
Yeah, never use stickers. Don't ever use stickers. It's got to be completely 100% handwritten and on an invitation envelope.
Oh, the return address too?
Yes, handwritten.
Oh, just do it ahead of time.
Yeah, do all of it. Yeah, do everything, including the multiple stamps, everything. So all you have left is the two, is the two part right in front of the, the to address on the front of the envelope, and then inside the letter you could put the property address in there too. With it, that way they know it's more real and it's for them because there's their address handwritten out with it and stuff.
Okay, all right, yeah, I get the statewide list now for Georgia and I narrow it down to about like 200.
Yeah, don't do that, Mike. So a while back I did a REI USA presentation on how to get short sales. First of all, I teach to get them the foreclosures from the legal newspaper for the county you want to work in. And I specifically showed the websites for Fulton County. I don't know which county you're in, but you don't want to get the statewide list. I know that the other lady on RISA teaches that, but that's not where you get the list from and stuff. You don't want to use that website. You want to go to the county legal newspaper, get it from the place that everybody else is aggregating it later, and it's 4 or 5 days late, and sometimes it's wrong. So there's a way to get it directly from the county legal government, website with it. So you want to get it from there. And I even did it live for Fulton County on one of the presentations.
Oh, okay.
And stuff.
All right, I'll go look at it.
Yeah, and then so
Thank you.
Mark on SMS text marketing, you said, yeah, actually, with my coaching students, I have a CRM system, customer relationship manager system that I use to combine emails, text messages, and stealth voice messages all into a workflow that runs automated. So yes, we do text messaging. Absolutely. Good question, Mark. Any other questions? You can unmute too if you want, Mark. I found a way to let you unmute and stuff. But any other questions? We kind of went a little bit longer tonight, but I really wanted to get that in because it encompasses a lot of areas of talking to a homeowner. And if you write down these facts and these scripts, you can make a little script out of it and stuff like that. Yeah, ringless voicemail, exactly. Yeah, now the problem, with the ringless voicemail, Mark, is that you can't really say, hey, John, you got a foreclosure, because, then you have to be generic in what the message is recorded, because you pre-record that and then place it on their phone with it and stuff. But yeah, I do. My coaching, we use that. We get actually a 32% response rate, guys, on my direct mail marketing, 32% response rate. So in other words, 1/3 of all the people we mail to, Mike, call us up. Okay. Now that's not that we sign them up to do a short sale, because we might not want to do it. But if you got a, well, shoot, I was even talking on the, this analysis that I was doing here. I'm showing it on my screen right now, this basic bonus marketing system, with these multiple touches, you got to do those multiple touches with people because, most people stop after one letter. And so, you got to combine it with at least 5 touches, be it text, ringless voicemail, real phone call from you. And then, I can get in 3 letters in a 21-day foreclosure and stuff. But a lot of good questions. Any other questions tonight on stuff, guys? You got my email in there. You can email me. Or, actually I got a longer presentation with a lot of information. If you text short to my phone number, 636-685-2990, I got a much longer presentation that doesn't fit into an REI USA, slot. And, it's got some information on marketing and how to find them on the county legal newspaper. Mark, I don't remember what county you're in, but every county has a legal newspaper with it. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, guys, I appreciate hanging in here. It's an extra long call, but man, you got to move right now. We've gotten 7 short sales in the past week come in, 7 short sales in the past week. Crazy when maybe would have had just maybe 1 in the past week, come in because of the moratorium and stuff. And so it's breaking free and is going to pretty much escalate, I think, through the rest of the year as the banks gear up and they're able to do it. But anyway, guys, thanks for staying in here. You got my contact info. Feel free to email me with any questions or get together on other information about short sales. Have a good evening.